Hi, I'm Dishant, and this is Unplanned. We are starting a new series. Every episode, one chapter of world architecture. From the first hut to the buildings going up in your city right now. And we are starting off with prehistoric architecture, which is simply the answer to an important question. What did people build before anyone knew the word architect? Well, whatever kept them alive. Today, architects worry about site planning, budgets, client mood boards, and whatnot. The first builders on earth had exactly one brief: don't die tonight. Is it too cold? Build something. Is it too wet? Build something better. What? There are wolves outside? Build something fast. Nobody was thinking about beauty or aesthetics. They were thinking about surviving the night. And that's actually the most honest client brief in the history of architecture. So how did people even get the idea to build anything? According to Vitruvius, they copied animals. Birds built nests, beavers built dams, animals dug dens. Humans looked at all that and basically said, I'll have what they're having. So the first shelters were branches bent into a frame covered with mud and leaves. Not an invention, just a copy-paste. And honestly, this never really stopped. A lot of sustainable design today is architects looking at nature and copying its homework. No, not that one. Yeah, this. So they are looking at the nature and copying their homework, and they are just using better software. As we dive into prehistory, a basic understanding of Stone Age is needed. In simple terms, divided into three different parts. Paleolithic, this was a time when humans were only hunters. Mesolithic, now that activity of hunting started getting organized. And then the last one, Neolithic, agriculture started shaping up at this time and domestication of animals became common. Here is something worth remembering as a student. Buildings don't start with style. They start with a problem. And the design of the building is actually solving that problem. Let's take an example of three kinds of people and see their three different solutions. Hunters kept moving to follow food. Building a permanent house made no sense for these people, especially when you are leaving next week. So, caves. Free rent, no construction, easily available in the surroundings, and sometimes you get a bear as a roommate. Best preserved examples have been found all over the world. Caves in Spain, Bhimbetka rock shelters in India, caves in Australia, Argentina, and many more. Recent discovery in July 2026. Yes, last month. Archaeologists found evidence of a period when humans were migrating from hunting to farming in Coves del Fem in Catalonia, Spain, which is one of the earliest shelters in the world. So the hunters period majorly covered the old and the middle Stone Age. Then we started doing farming, and they were different, entering into the new Stone Age. Once you are growing crops, your field doesn't move, so you can't. That's the moment permanent huts started showing up. And then after that, villages. One decision of farming and people got their first address. Shepherds had the opposite problem. Try moving 200 goats while carrying a brick house. So tents. Light, quick to pack, and prehistoric version of a flat pack furniture. And then the one everyone forgets, lake dwellings. Wooden huts built on stilts, out over open water. In Switzerland, Italy, Ireland. Why bother? Defense. Nobody is raiding your house if they have to swim first. So yes, design, problem solving is a 5,000 years old idea. No design thinking required here. At some point, people stopped building only to survive and started building to be remembered. That's where the giant rocks come in. Not that one. Yeah, these ones. And these are called megaliths. Mega, big, lith, stone. Not a subtle name. First, menhir. One giant stone placed upright. The biggest one still standing in Carnac in France, and it's 63 feet tall and weighs as much as 40 elephants. Carnac isn't just one stone either. There are close to 12,000 of them lined up in rows. And in 2025, the whole site finally got UNESCO World Heritage status. If Carnac sounds familiar to you, that's because of Asterix village is set in this exact same part of France. Next, dolmens. Two upright stones with a giant flat slab across the top. Basically, a stone table for giants. Except most of these were not dining rooms. They were tombs. Structurally though, remember this one because we will come back to it. A slab held up by two supports is exact same idea as a column holding a beam. Every Greek temple you will ever see is basically a fancier dolmen. Next, cromlech. Upright stones arranged in a circle, capped with more stones on top. Yeah, you guessed it right. This is the Stonehenge's category, and it's still the most famous rock arrangement on the planet. Today, a ticket costs around £27. Entry is timed, and over 1.5 million people show up every year just to look at it. There is also Avebury, not far away, the largest stone circle of its kind. It's so big that an entire village got built inside it, pub included. Yes, you can have a pint inside a monument older than pyramids. Last one, tumuli. Giant earth mounds built over graves. The best example is Newgrange in Ireland, older than Stonehenge and older than pyramids. Once a year, on winter solstice, sunlight travels down a narrow passage and lights up the burial chamber inside for exactly 17 minutes. You can't just walk in that day either. It's a public lottery, and the last one had over 16,000 entries for 38 spots. People entering a lottery who sit inside 5,000-year-old tomb for a quarter of an hour. Just keep that in mind next time a concert ticket sells out in 10 seconds. Here's why the mound actually matters though. It is the first time architecture gets used to honor the dead at a massive scale. Push that same idea forward a few thousand years and it becomes pyramids of Egypt. History doesn't always invent something new. Sometimes it's just build the old idea bigger. So here's the real takeaway from this episode. Prehistoric buildings were not primitive because people didn't know better. They were exactly as complicated as the problem in front of them. Need shelter? Build. Need to move? Tent. Need defense? Build over water. Need to remember someone? Move a rock nobody else could move. Every cathedral, every skyscraper, every airport terminal you will ever design or visit traces back to someone standing in rain, looking at the bird's nest and thinking, yeah, I could probably do that too. Next episode, we step into the world of smart farmers and engineers who built impressive cities in the Indus Valley. This is Unplanned. Subscribe and comment if you have any questions.